Jason Minix, The Blitz.
Hey, we finally get going on a football Friday afternoon after one crazy baseball game. It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Astros win. The Astros win, 9-4 the final score. Let's celebrate by giving stuff away. You know, you're listening to that Friday afternoon baseball. You know you need a cold beer. We have a beer festival coming to San Antonio next weekend. We're going to reward the people that stayed around through the end of that baseball game, and you're catching the beginning of the Blitz. We've never given away anything right off the bat. Let's do it now. Caller number, 9, since the Astros won 9-4. 9. Caller 9. To 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You'll win a pair of tickets to the 15th Annual San Antonio Beer Festival, which is next Saturday, October 16th out at Crockett Park. If you don't win them, you can always go buy them at sanantoniobeerfestival.com. Again, caller 9, those tickets are yours. The Astros now one win away from sweeping the Chicago White Sox. They lead that series 2-0 after the 9-4 win. But it is a football Friday, and we'll talk a lot of football today, but we'll also talk some Spurs and Heat. They play a preseason game tonight, but the San Antonio Spurs made some big news on the broadcasting front today. You got Bill Land and Sean Elliott coming back to do TV, obviously. Matt Bonner's still going to have his role, as is Dan Weiss, but the Spurs are adding Fabricio Roberto and Michelle Beadle to their broadcast crew. Beads is going to do, it says select games. I don't know how many games. I was texting with her earlier. I just hope whatever they do in some form or fashion, they bring out and bring back some of the Coyote Clubhouse. But I'm excited that Michelle Beadle, and when she was on ESPN doing all the national stuff, the Spurs superfan is back home and going to be a part of the Spurs broadcast crew this year. I think that is fantastic. Congrats to Michelle Beadle. There's a huge fight tomorrow night. Tyson Fury 3 is tomorrow night. We'll get into that. Huge game starting tomorrow morning. You kick off the college football weekend with the Red River Shootout. 11 o'clock, Texas against Oklahoma. You know that's going to be a great game. Make sure you go hang out with Rob and Rudy tomorrow morning. They got to work on a Saturday. Go visit with them. 9 to 11 at Ojos Locos. You got a lot of Coors Light swag that you could you could win while you're out there, including a cool alarm clock. So go check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun with those guys tomorrow. They're there from 9 to 11, but I think doors are opening like at 10:30. Maybe 11. You know, the party's going to get started right at kickoff for Texas and OU. And yes, Rudy J, it is a big-time rivalry. Cowboys Giants this weekend. We'll talk about that coming up with Jon Machota. Interesting game for sure. Lots of really good NFL games. And, you know, last night's game certainly lived up to the billing, although you had both quarterbacks hurt their fingers. And you just realize how quickly things could change. And for Russell Wilson, who never misses time and gets sacked more than anybody, he just couldn't grip the ball, period. I mean, and he had to come out. Geno, has he played that well since West Virginia? I mean, he came in and looked pretty good, but ultimately the Rams ended up getting the win. Mike McCarthy was on with R&R this morning. We will replay that interview for you coming up at 6. So lots of football this weekend, starting tomorrow morning at 11 with the college games. And the other big college game, at least it was massive when the schedule was released. But the way things have gone the last couple of weeks for the Aggies, it's taken a little shine off of Alabama coming to town. But let's talk about it with the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco, joining us now on the Blitz. Andrew, appreciate the flexibility. You know, those baseball games just inconsiderate and went long.
They're not timed. They need to be. If we could time them, Jason, we would be just fine. But that's not the way. That's not the way it works. Great to be with you, my friend.
I appreciate it. When the Astros win 9-4, you're good with it. And both Absolutely, you and I have done. Good. Yeah, and you and I have done baseball games, and I've done games. I did a high school game one time that went 17 innings.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It started at 7, and we finished up like at midnight. And there was talk in the press box like, if it goes longer, do we just pick it up the next day? I mean, it was just with baseball, you never know.
You never know. Oh my gosh! And you know what? everybody gets the daggers when they say, hey, this game's moving fast, or he's throwing a no-hitter.
It's like when you talk about a kicker's streak as he's about to miss one.
That's exactly right.
I mean, even Joe Buck last night in the NFL game was doing it afterwards. He was mocking the broadcaster jinx.
Yes, he was. Yeah. At a certain point, we control absolutely nothing, but we just err on the side of caution anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew, let's talk about this game tomorrow. I mean, this was supposed to be, when the schedule came out, the game, the game that would define Texas A&M season. And in some ways, it still could if somehow the Aggies could pull off the shocker. But in a lot of ways, this game doesn't have that same level of excitement that it would have had if the Aggies weren't stumbling into it. What's the mood been like around College Station this week?
The mood is, number one's coming in, right? And you're right. They've dropped the ball, to use the pun, if you will. That's why CBS picked this for the doubleheader game, thinking that, the teams would be 5-0 coming in here, long winning streaks for each of these schools. But it's the Aggies who have stumbled. So the thought being is you gave yourself a chance to win the last 2 weeks, but you didn't. You could be 5-0, but you're not. You got to look in the mirror and say, why aren't we? What can we correct? Because if we go out and make the same mistakes that have been made the last 2 weeks, really the previous 5 weeks, it's not like there were no mistakes in the 3 wins in those games. If you keep making those same mistakes, guess what? You're going to get the same result. So that's what has to be cleaned up. I would love to be able to say, hey, you know what? Now you're experienced. I would love to be able to say, well, Luke Matthews, your shoulder is healthy. Nope, he's out. You know what? He had surgery this week. Miles Jones, you're out. Surgery this week. Brian George, his backup, out. But you know what? Tyreek Chappelle, it's your job right now. Run with it. And that's why Jimbo says to his team, it's about the opportunities. He said something on Wednesday during his coaches show, Jason, I thought was really interesting. The 1-2 is there. The how-to is not there. And he blames himself and the coaches first. But the 1-2 obviously is there. Is the talent gap closer? Yes, it is. But there's still part of learning how to win on a Saturday. Is that practicing better over the week? Which is, I've told you this before, I think last year's team understood that to a T. That's how good they were with that. I think this team, in all honesty, has let some days get away, and it has affected them on Saturday, as it should. Now, have practices been better? Absolutely. But you have to be nearly perfect against Alabama because, as Jimbo says, why is Alabama so good? They are consistently spectacular. And that's the thing. They do the ordinary things better than anyone else. Extreme talent. They recruit well. They play well, high level, but they just execute beautifully, and they do it play after play after play. Obviously, that's where this team wants to go. This is where Jimbo wants to go, but they're not there yet. But can you close that gap? You certainly hope it starts tomorrow evening.
Andrew Monaco, voice of the Aggies, joining us here on the Blitz as A&M gets ready to host Alabama tomorrow night. You look at A&M's offenses, it's just kind of stopped working. And I'm looking for the defense to pick things up. And they, the Aggie defense hasn't created the turnovers that can help out a struggling offense. They've allowed too many yards. But I was surprised when I was looking at some of the previews of this matchup, the amount of tackles for loss that Alabama has allowed, and they're a little banged up in the run game. If A&M has a chance, the defense has to get those tackles for loss and create some turnovers and, maybe even get a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, I agree with that because you need to get more pressure from this D-line, and I think the D-line is still the strength of this Texas A&M team. Can you get pressure? Pressure equals picks, coverage equals sacks. That's just the maxim in football. And it is the negative plays. Remember also, Bryce Young doesn't have a lot of starts under his belt. Terrific quarterback. Please don't get me wrong. But he doesn't have a ton of starts under his belt. This is an offensive line that is new compared to last year's. Sound familiar? That's exactly what it is. And you're right. To be able to get them in second or third and long. Jason, the problem isn't so much getting off the field on third down. It's when in third down. it's got to be a 3 and out and not a 6 and out, a 7 and out, right? That's the big difference. When Jimbo talked about last week about Mississippi State getting a first down on a 3rd and 16, he didn't talk about the field position. He immediately went to Mississippi State was then allowed to take 7 more minutes off the clock. What is A&M's recipe and identity? Balance the run and the pass. Haven't been able to run because the offensive line. Haven't really been able to pass because of that offensive line. They don't dominate the time of possession, but you have to get the 3rd downs and continue your drives. It's not enough to get 1 on offense and get to midfield. What are you doing in the next 50 yards? And it's not enough to get off the field after 1 or 2 third down. And that's what's happening. So you can have a drive stall at the 50, but then a punt and you're having to go 90 yards up the field. Get that 3 and out early and get a better field position. And I truly believe this. I think with the Aniyah Smiths and Devon A-Chain, your punt returner and your kick returner, if Alabama will kick to them, and I'm not sure they will, but those are the kind of game changers. And think about it already this year. Aniyah already has 3 returns that have come back because of penalties. That has to stop. That has to be cleaned up. But those are those hidden yards, and those can be those game changers. Don't you want to give a young quarterback 35 or 40 yards in that short field as opposed to always being at your own 20 or your 25? That's what I'm interested in seeing. It's the timeliness or the untimeliness of these penalties that are happening, wiping out big gains. It means it's more than just a 5-yard loss. You're wiping out 17, 20, 25 yards. Clean up those mistakes, then I'd really like to see what will happen.
Well, and again, you've got to be damn near perfect against Alabama to give yourself a chance. And, you know, you go back and you think about the Florida game where Florida gave them a game. And we've seen Alabama lose before, but what happens is Alabama makes a rare mistake, but the other team is clean. Can you be clean in all those areas? And with this A&M team, we just haven't seen it to this point.
No, we have not. Absolutely not. And as Jimbo says, what becomes a little frustrating is it's always somebody else. If it were one person, you could replace that person, right? It always seems to be somebody else. And again, the timing of all of that. Think back to last week, the interception on play number 2. Good news. Hey, it was just a field goal. Then when you get a stop after Mississippi State's in the red zone, you have a face mask penalty. Now it's 1st and goal at the 1. That becomes a touchdown. And again, you don't want to be playing the what if game, but what if that is only a field goal? What if you don't have the penalty on the block? What if, or on the punt return, excuse me. That's what has to be, instead of the what ifs, it's this is what happened. This is what we did well. And it is 11 guys winning their space. And Jimbo just said it today at the walkthrough. That is the power of football, is 11 guys winning their space. It can't be 10. It can't be 9. It has to be all 11 because that's the only thing that you can control in a football game is you blocking that man in front of you, maybe blocking as a wide receiver, making that catch. For as much as we want Zach, he's got to hit open men. You know what? The wide receivers can do him some favors as well. Make that catch. Open up that hole. It will be easier for a young quarterback if he can hand it off to Isaiah and hand it off to Devon A-Chain and maybe establish more of a run game and more of a balanced offense. You know me, I'm a big believer in a team's identity. I don't know what A&M's identity is right now. I think they have the talent to establish that identity. We just haven't seen it up till now.
It's wild. And any lingering hangover effect, if you will, from the loss last week, because I don't think anybody expected what we ended up seeing, including you. I got to tell you a quick story. I walked out of the Alamo Dome after being at the UTSA game, put it on AM 550 KTSA in the Alamo Dome parking lot, and there was still a chance for A&M, but the hope in your voice was like, I still can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe we're in this position.
You get an opportunity for your very last drive with 2.5 minutes left, and you go -1 incomplete safety. That's not the way to do it. And I can't say enough about the 12th man. I really thought there was. You know that we are across the street from Olsen Field for baseball, and we always celebrate Olsen Magic. Those late game heroics by Texas A&M baseball. I thought there was going to be some Kyle magic. I thought the crowd was unbelievable last Saturday. They stayed the entire game. They were yelling the entire game. And you get that stop, and you get the noise is such a factor that Mississippi State is now getting the penalties and pushing them back, and then the missed field goal, giving you that chance. And you don't even have to score. You just need a field goal here. And then that's what happens. That was so deflating. Is Mississippi State good? Yes. Are they great? Absolutely not. What I'm looking to see once again, Jason, is the quiet confidence this team had in the summer and through camp. I feel like they've lost that, and I'd like to see them regain that quiet confidence that they had. It's not so much fear of failure. I wonder if it's a part of fear of success because we have to do it every single week. Look, the expectations changed on this team this year, but you have to embrace them and not fear them. Yes, it's hard. If it were easy, everybody would be Alabama,
yep.
Right? But that's what separates that school from everybody else. You have to embrace it. Does that mean there might be a leader who's got to say something to somebody in the course of a game and not afterwards? Maybe. That's part of that leadership. And I think there's a little bit of a void there, not because there aren't leaders, but I'm wondering if guys are waiting. Is that my role? Maybe it has to be now. Maybe you have to assume that role as well as what you have to do on the field. That may go a long way. And I really think it starts in practice. And believe me, the practice this week was good. Does it translate to tomorrow? I don't know. Does it translate to the rest of the season? I think it does, because Jimbo says you can't be defined by these last 2 weeks. There's still a lot of season left. But again, you got to clean up all those mistakes and maybe take that leadership, see that improved effort, and then build off that, as opposed to everything being negative. Oh, you didn't do this, didn't do that. Hey, we can do. Think of the Florida win. Hey, we could do this. They kind of built off what they didn't do and left on the field against Alabama last year. And even though it was an offensive game and the defense wasn't as good, remember later on in the season the way they almost pitched a shutout in South Carolina. LSU scores late. It was a defensive game really taking over for the offense and saying, hey, we've got this. Maybe that's what it's going to take some weeks. Hey, we've got you. Just score enough points. We'll stop them if you can have that confidence on both sides of the ball.
It's going to be a interesting game, to say the least, tomorrow there at Kyle Field. Alabama, Texas A&M. It's still Alabama coming to town. You can listen to the game on AM 550, KTSA, and 107.1 FM. CBS is apparently having one of those disputes with Dish Network here in San Antonio, so it won't be on Ken's 5, but it will be on the radio on KTSA with that man, Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies. Have fun with the call tomorrow night, Andrew. Appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Appreciate it. Andrew Monaco, voice of the Aggies, and I tell you what, it's still Alabama coming to town. And it might not be pretty, but everybody gets up for Alabama. We'll see if Texas A&M can deliver that best shot. Now, the other part about it, it's a night game. So all day, the tailgating is going to be fantastic there at College Station. And if you're doing some tailgating tomorrow, whether you're taking meat, going to a stadium and firing up the pit, or you're home gating at the house, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market, one of their 2 great locations, because that great meat, that great meal starts with great meat. You can't tailgate without going into Tri-County Meat Market. They're locally owned and full service. They have everything you need to up your grilling game: the beef, the chicken, the pork, the fajitas, the poppers. They even have their own homegrown Wagyu, farm to fork Wagyu. Doesn't get better than that. They've got meats in there. They've teamed up with Dean and Peeler Premium Meats out of Floresville for more locally sourced meats. Of course, the Pig 5 for $25 is perfect for tailgating and big gatherings. So get into Tri-County Meat Market. If you're military or a first responder, you will get a 10% discount. Tri-County Meat Market has 2 locations, one on Ralph Fair Road, the other on Huebner, or go to their website, tricountymeat.com.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Hey, Texas fans. Coors Light, the official beer partner of the Texas Longhorns and San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN invite you to join us for the annual Red River Showdown viewing party at Ojos Locos Cantina on Northwest Loop 410 tomorrow.
That's right. R&R in the Morning will broadcast live from 9 to 11. Texas and OU. Kickoff will get going at 11. Enjoy some great food, great Coors Light tailgate prizes, and great Coors Light drink specials. Don't miss the Red River Showdown, Ojos Locos Cantina, tomorrow. The party starts at 11.
If you're shopping for a new vehicle this weekend, go see my friends at Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck. part of the Ansira I-10 Auto Complex. You know, it is very easy for me to tell you about and recommend Ansira because I am a long-time Ansira customer, and it's because of their great customer service before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That great customer service is why Ansira has been a top family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. And you know Price made Ansira number one. Price keeps Ansira number one. So think Ansira. Ansira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ansira I-10 Auto Complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Huebner. Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
You love Zoom for video meetings? Now, choose Zoom to power your phone communications too. Zoom Phone works seamlessly within the Zoom app as your business phone system. Zoom Phone's secure HD audio and enterprise-grade reliability keep you connected to your teams and your customers. And it's easy to use on mobile, desktop, or desk phone. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Zoom, how the world connects.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40, but the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor in person. There was no copay, and the medication was shipped right to my door in discreet packaging.
Hims took care of it, fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever.
Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation and rise to the occasion or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/radio to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer is to go to 4hims.com/radio. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Dig a trench, gravel the driveway, remove a tree stump. To tackle the big jobs, you need the power of Kubota. At Ewald Kubota, we have the tractors and construction equipment to get it done fast and get it done right. You've come to rely on the quality and dependability of Kubota compact tractors and implements, and at Ewald Kubota, rental equipment is available at all of our locations. Right now, all new rental customers get 10% off their first rental. For a store near you, visit ewaldkubota.com.
500,000 businesses connect using Zoom, a single platform for video, phone, chat, and conference rooms. Zoom enables real-time collaboration no matter where your teams are. Global enterprises trust the easy-to-use, reliable, and secure Zoom platform to power high-performance teams. Empower your workforce with Zoom. Save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Happy Hour is back at Twin Peaks, and we're offering up more than just great drinks. Score yourself some chips and salsa for just $2. Your choice of mozzarella cheese bites, chips and queso, or fried pickles, where they're just $4. And the triple play quesadillas or 6 boneless wings, that's right, only $6. Each of these epic appetizers are craveable, shareable, and delicious. And what a deal. Happy Hour at Twin Peaks just got better. See you Monday through Friday, 2 to 7 p.m. Again at late night. Get to Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and those scenic views.
Second it takes the Blitz with Jason Minix and Sports Insiders. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Cowboys have a big game on Sunday, although it feels like nobody's really talking about the Giants. Let's talk about the Giants. Jon Machota from The Athletic joining us now here on the Blitz. And I say that, John, because, you know, with the release of Jalen Smith, it's almost like Jerry Jones just steered the conversation away from the Cowboys Giants to, hey, we just let go of a guy that we paid a whole lot of money to.
Yeah, I mean, I get that on the outside. I don't get the sense that the team necessarily feels that way. I think that they're ready to move on and play the Giants, but I'm sure it was a shock to, you know, some of the players in that. And it is a big story in the NFL. And I get that because he made the Pro Bowl. People know who he is from his college days. People know who he is from overcoming the knee injury, the drop foot, and all of that. And it's a very inspirational story. But in terms of on the field, it just like his play was not, you know, of that level. And so if you aren't watching the games closely, I can see how people would look at it like, why would they get rid of this, you know, linebacker? Like, you know, the last thing this defense needs is less playmakers. But yeah, he wasn't making plays anymore. So, I mean, I didn't see any way he was going to be on the team next year. So the timing of it is the surprise. But the fact that they're moving out from Smith, I don't think is a huge surprise to anybody who follows the team closely. And I have heard people say, you know, things like, oh, this could be a distraction and cause issues in the locker room. I don't see that happening at all.
You know, and it's interesting because as you talk to more and more people up there, that's the sense. And, you know, for a guy that was voted team captain or named the team captain for the Carolina game and then to get released a couple days later, it was a surprise, but it's the business of football. Now, I'm glad Jalen, as he said today in Green Bay, thinks he's still playing at an elite level. And if he was, he would still be a Dallas Cowboy. But you're right. The numbers say with the snaps when he's not on the field, that's a better defense. They didn't need him, especially risking the amount of money that he was going to get. When you look at next year, if he were to get hurt, when you look at this defense as a whole, and it is playing a lot better under Dan Quinn, what's been I mean, outside of Dan Quinn, have you been able to kind of pinpoint like this area has improved so much and this is why?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to just go with the simple answer of Dan Quinn, but I mean, a lot of this goes back to him because of the fact that he's putting a lot of these guys in position to make these plays. I mean, I think it's been outstanding the way he's used Micah Parsons. And so Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs get most of the headlines, but I thought he's been outstanding with the way he's used J-Ron Kearse. I think you're going to see even more J-Ron Kearse going forward. Keanu O'Neil, now that he's back, you know, I mean, I remember there was some questions of, you know, I can't believe they're going to move him from safety to linebacker. That's what he is, the safety drafted out of Florida. He's a safety for Dan Quinn in Atlanta. Why is he going to be playing linebacker? And he's obviously was one of their best linebackers. He was starting before he got put on the COVID reserve list. And so, I mean, I hate to just take the simple way out and say that Dan Quinn deserves a lot of this credit, but he really does. I mean, that's the difference, is that he is the type of coach that he's not just doing the stuff that he did in Seattle. He's not just doing the stuff he did in Atlanta. He's doing different things, and it's fitting it to the players that he has. Now, let's not be ridiculous here and act like this defense is fixed. I mean, this is still a defense that can give up 400 yards and 30 points, and nobody should be surprised by it. They are a far more aggressive defense than we've seen, and obviously Trayvon Diggs leading the way there and getting the takeaways, and that's what's kind of been the equalizer that fits nicely with an offense that can score anytime they have the ball. But if you want to just point to like what is the biggest reason, it has to go to Dan Quinn. He deserves more credit than anybody as far as I'm concerned.
I to this point, I mean, is he not the assistant coach of the year? Or, however they couch those on defense or offense. I mean, it is pretty incredible, the turnaround that we have seen and just the attitude from this defense. And then you've got, the Giants coming in on Sunday. We know their offense with Jason Garrett and, whatever Cowboy fans might think of Jason Garrett, but they still have a Saquon Barkley. And Jones, if he doesn't turn the ball over, can be pretty decent. He's good enough to beat you. So that's sneaky good unless he makes the dumb mistake. So how do the Cowboys get him to make the dumb mistake?
Well, it's going to start with the pressure for sure. I mean, there were times in that game last week where I think Sam Darnold was running a little too much, a little bit more than the Cowboys would have liked, and particularly, in the red zone. And that's certainly things that Daniel Jones can do. So they have to be very aware of that. Maybe it was good, not by their doing, but maybe they just got lucky the way the schedule fell, that there's going to be plenty of that tape to watch after that Carolina game, the things that Sam Darnold did that you're going to have to keep your eye out for, because Daniel Jones can certainly do and do it at an even higher level. And so I think that's the key there, is just to make him uncomfortable. And if they make him uncomfortable and they can contain Saquon Barkley, I don't think they're going to have too many issues with this Giants offense. When I look at the matchup between these teams, the thing that keeps coming back to me is that, of course, it's the NFL, and like, no one should just assume that, okay, the Cowboys are a better team. They got a better roster. They're playing better. They're at home. They're going to win this game easy. No, there's also the factor of taking care of the football. They've done a good job of doing that up to this point. That was an issue for them last year. And so you sit here and you think, well, yeah, if everything goes as planned, Cowboys should win this game by 10, maybe 14, maybe even more. But if they have one of these games where Zeke fumbles it and loses it, maybe Dak throws a couple interceptions, things like that keep a Giants team in the game, that are coming off of the win that they had last week against New Orleans in New Orleans, that's the type of stuff that can give a team like that a little bit of momentum, and that's the last thing you want to do. And so that's one of the things I'll be keeping an eye on too, because I think if the Cowboys offense, if you tell me they take care of the ball and don't turn it over, I don't see a way the Giants win this game.
I don't either, but then I look at the Giants, and I know what the record is. They've played a couple of really close games, which is, well, quite frankly, surprising.
No, absolutely. It is. That also kind of goes with the NFC East. It's like there's always a team in the NFC East, I feel like, every season that is kind of like overachieves or underachieves. There's always just a team that like kind of surprises you. And going into the season, I thought that could be the Giants. I was like, if Saquon Barkley could get back to the player he was before the injury, and then if Daniel Jones takes another step, and then obviously you needed guys like Kadarius Toney to step in as a rookie and play well. If there were things like that can on their direction, then yeah, maybe they can be that team. But I still, even with that, like, one of the key things why Jason Garrett had success in Dallas is because of the offensive line. And I think they're heading in the right direction in New York, but it's still not there. And then you have their, starting tackle Andrew Thomas getting hurt in practice this week. He's uncertain for the game as of right now. I heard he was limping in practice yesterday. So their offensive line is not where Jason Garrett probably wants it to be. And that's such a key to having the success that he wants to have on offense. And so, I mean, I don't think it'll be a blowout, but if the Cowboys take care of the football, I just don't see the Giants winning this game.
Jon Machota from The Athletic joining us here on the Blitz. John, before I let you go, I want to ask about the Cowboys offensive line and the legal maneuvering that La'el Collins is attempting to do, which to me seems pointless, but what's his end game there of trying to get those final two games, get some judge to let him go play, which obviously isn't going to happen for this week?
The only thing that I come up with on this, because I agree with you, it doesn't make much sense from a Cowboy standpoint, from the football and the field standpoint. It's that he wants to have that suspension reduced and potentially wiped out completely so he can get his game checks for those games, so that he gets the full amount of money, which anybody would want if they felt like they were wrongfully accused of something. So I think it's more about that for him than it is necessarily getting out there and being able, because he was not going to get to play in this game. I mean, well, I shouldn't say wasn't going to. If they ruled in his favor, then technically he could be eligible for this game. But why would you want to put him out there when he hasn't practiced with the team? And this is for several weeks. This isn't like he just sat out a week. He hasn't practiced for several weeks, and things are going pretty well on the offensive line. So I feel like when he gets back, you're going to want to kind of work him in for a week or so and then get him back up to speed with the way the rest of the group is playing. So from a Cowboys football standpoint, yeah, fighting this makes very little sense. But then again, so did fighting it after it was, I believe, reduced to a 2-game suspension. Most would think, well, why wouldn't you just take that when it was taken down from 5 games to 2? But he wanted to make sure that he was getting paid for all those games. And again, I think it goes back to if you put yourself in his shoes and you feel like you didn't do anything wrong, then of course you're going to want to continue to fight this. But from a Cowboys outsider fan perspective, all you're thinking about is what's best for the team. And what's best for the team, you would think right now, is just take the suspension and move on and come back and be healthy when you're ready to come back, and let's put this behind us.
I understand him trying to fight for his money, and nobody wants to miss a game check. I get that, no matter how much money you might have in your bank account. I was looking at it purely selfishly. If it was reduced, say 2 games, and he was able to come back, and then they review it and go through the legal process, and he loses, and then he's got to sit out 2 games later in the season, that's not good for the Cowboys, because right now Terrence Steele is playing well enough, and Tyron Smith is playing well enough, but it's just a matter of when, not if. He hasn't played a full season in forever. I don't want to mess with a suspension that could drop at any point with Collins, with Smith later in the season. You know what I mean?
I absolutely agree. And there's a lot of negatives to that you're saying. So I will try and come up with one positive. And the only positive I can come out of this is that before La'el Collins got suspended, nobody outside of Terrence Steele's family thought that he was going to be able to step in and play well as a right tackle starting in the NFL. And we have found that he can do it at a solid level, to a point where you start thinking, from my perspective of covering the Cowboys, hey, maybe we're looking at a time now where every offseason it won't be signing a washed-up veteran to be the swing tackle, and now you actually have a guy that, if he's not starting, you actually have a guy that can be your swing tackle. That's a young guy that you can continue to bring along. For one of the things that Mike McCarthy deserves the most credit for, I believe, is believing in allowing the coaches to play some of these younger players. And yeah, it's not always pretty early on. Obviously, it wasn't pretty for Terrence Steele all of last season. But the end game could be that you developed a guy that you obviously didn't invest much in because he was an undrafted guy, and he could end up being a starter for you going forward. And so the Terrence Steele thing is the one positive that has come out of this, because I think that not only the Cowboys feel good about him, but I think everybody on the outside too is like, wow, this Terrence Steele has really improved in the offseason.
Yeah, it's been an incredible turnaround from a kid that went to Steele High School here in San Antonio. Proud to see him progress, because, for a long time last year, you were just watching him going, man, this guy got thrown to the wolves. That sucks. But he certainly has changed his game around, and it made the La'el Collins suspension. All right, man, nobody's missed him. And that's good news if you're a Cowboy fan. Cowboys Giants on Sunday afternoon. Make sure you're following Jon Machota on Twitter and reading his stuff and subscribing to The Athletic. John, appreciate the time. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate it. Jon Machota from The Athletic. Of course, Cowboys Giants Sunday afternoon. You can listen to it right here on San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Ewald Kubota. You look at the game Sunday, Cowboys Giants, all the other games happening this weekend. Lots of good matchups there. If you're not playing fantasy football online at Underdog Fantasy, you're doing it wrong. Underdog Fantasy is the best new place to play fantasy sports. With daily and season-long fantasy sports, they have the NFL Pick'em game, which is a lot of fun, where you can pick any 2 to 5 player props to parlay together, and you can win up to 20 times on your entry in one night. The over-under, where you pick whether a player is going to go over or under a given stat line in their game. You can play online. You can download their app. Just sign up today, use promo code RADIO, and make your first deposit. You'll receive a free $25 in bonus cash. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. Register with promo code RADIO to get $25 cash for free with your first deposit. Download the app today. Start playing today. Just use promo code RADIO at sign up. Terms and conditions apply. Go download the mobile app or play online. UnderdogFantasy.com.
For $1,000 now, enter the winning keyword, SCARE. SCARE. SCARE at SASportsStar.com. Good luck from San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I had some kielbasa sausage on my grill last night. There's going to be some in your future this weekend, because there's football going on, and nothing goes better with football than some great kielbasa sausage. And one of the great things about kielbasa that you might not know, while they're a local San Antonio company that's become a nationwide brand, they take care of their hometown. Kielbasa this year alone has donated more than 2 tons of sausage to the San Antonio Food Bank. They're donating premium sausage with the special label as a part of their Links of Love program. And through this program, they've been able to help a lot of local food banks and help people with disaster relief efforts. And they certainly take care of San Antonio. So when you go into the grocery store and you get some Kielbasa smoked meats product, whether you're talking about the sausage, the bacon, the great chorizo, or those breakfast links, you know, while you're enjoying the best, you're helping Kielbasa help people that are going through it enjoy some great Kielbasa as well. Learn more about Kielbasa's Links of Love program on their website at kielbasa.com. Get into the grocery store. Get some Kielbasa today.
Are you thinking about selling your car? Don't get tricked with 2-minute offers only to spend 4 hours at a dealership. I want you to check out my friends at Car Zeus. It's Rudy J here. Car Zeus is not a dealership, so you don't need to worry about shady sales tactics just to lure you in the door. I'm talking about saving you time and hassle. Simply fill out a form about your car's condition at carzeus.com, and a local agent will text you an offer during business hours. No obligation. Plus, they pay the same day and even provide a courtesy Lyft ride home. That's carzeus.com.
Kane Brown, Blessed and Free Tour. Saturday, October 16th, AT&T Center. Special guests, Jordan Davis and Restless Road. See the meteoric rise of Kane Brown live. Tickets are on sale now at KaneBrownMusic.com. Presented by AEG Presents.
The marriage is over. You know it. Your friends know it. So why fight? Call DivorceDude.com at 210-201-0303 and ask for Mark, the Divorce Dude, with Polling Law PLLC. DivorceDude.com can help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the DivorceDude.com can fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. If the marriage is over, why fight? DivorceDude.com.
Looking for a protein-packed snack to power you through the day? Of course you are. Only Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors that stand out in the Me Too snack aisle. Sea salt and cracked black pepper, pineapple ancho chili, pasilla chili cheese, and more. Take your snacking to higher flavor levels with Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. And keto fans, you're going to love this low-carb crunch. Visit your local H-E-B and SouthernRecipeSmallBatch.com to see the power of the rinds.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
With confusion around vaccinations, masks, and public screenings, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign, so make sure you use an accurate thermometer for your family. Only the Exergen Temporal Scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them and cannot be relied on. Be vigilant and be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Your source to local news and sports in San Antonio begins with the San Antonio Express News. We've collected, written, and shown the stories that matter most to San Antonio. Look no further than the San Antonio Express News to continue to provide information and strength to the community. Whether it's on the field or on a court, we provide the ground local coverage. Go to expressnews.com for the most up-to-date high school and college sports coverage. Subscribe today at expressnews.com.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with Mizuno irons and wedges. The JPX 921 Hot Metal Pro, Tour, and Forged irons offer Mizuno's fastest ball speeds ever. And the new T22 wedges feature 4 different sole grinds for varying techniques and conditions. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron. BetOnline.net is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football odds and news this season. Get all the updated info on players, teams, and odds to help you with your new football contests, leagues, and new survivor pools. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports. Pro sports, MMA, championship boxing, golf, horse racing, they have it all. Bring the game home with BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you looking for a job where you can have tons of fun and make great money? Twin Peaks is the team for you. We're looking for Twin Peaks girls, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Text WORK 4TP to 85000 to apply. That's WORK, the number 4 TP to 85000 to apply.
Get your college game on. Get ready for the fight songs. It's college football.
Touchdown! What a catch!
Hear it live on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, this is Sarah Spain, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix on a great football Friday that's got a lot of other stuff going on as well. Just getting off work, Astros won earlier today. They beat the White Sox 9-4. They lead that series 2-0. Spurs do have a preseason game tonight, the Miami Heat in town. I don't know what to expect in this game. We'll find out. I don't think you can watch this one either, which sucks because Spurs TV doesn't do preseason games. But Spurs TV did make some big news today with announcing their broadcast crew. And everybody's back. Bill Land, year 19, Sean Elliott, Matt Bonner still on the desk, Dan Weiss. But they've got two new people joining. Fabricio Roberto is going to do select games. And Beads, Michelle Beadle, is going to be a part of the Spurs broadcast crew. It says select games. I just hope somehow they get some form of a Coyote Clubhouse remix for Michelle Beadle. I mean, that's how she got her start years and years and years ago. Happy for Michelle. She'll be on with us soon. I was texting with her earlier today saying, like, what does select games mean? How many does that mean? And we don't know yet. The other part of that announcement, they're going to have 10 games on Channel 5. Which is great for Ken's TV, unless, of course, you're a Dish Network type. Yeah, because at least right now, Dish Network and Channel 5 here locally and their parent company, they're going through their dispute. So, Channel 5 isn't available to Dish customers. Now, as a DirecTV person, it doesn't affect me, but we've all gone through it. It sucks every time it happens. But if you're a TV station in football season, you can't have this. I mean, it's one thing to have 10 Spurs games, but yeah, there's no NFL games on Sunday for those people. And unless you're a bent Aggie fan, you're mad because the Aggies, you won't be able to stay home and watch the Aggies if you're a Dish customer. Now, for some of you, that might be good news. My buddy John Robbins, who does stats for a high school game, just came in and he already knows it's going to be L. He's already depressed about what's going to happen. All of it. It's, but that's his team, man. The Aggies are his team. It's comical. Then, of course, tomorrow night, this is why you got to get into a place like the Roo Pub because, they're going to have all the games on. So while there might be misery with the A&M game, there'll be something else on one of those big 170-inch laser TVs they have there at the Roo Pub. They're going to have Tyson Wilder 3 on at the Roo Pub tomorrow night. Get there early, get a table. The fight's always – I wonder what kind of armor suit, Deontay Wilder wears into the ring. Remember last time they fought, he had that 40-pound suit on and it said it took all his energy? He needs to go all Mike Tyson and just have a towel and just get out there as they get ready for Tyson Wilder 3. So whether you're watching the Aggie game, the fight, the Longhorn game, the games on Sunday, there's no better place in town to go watch those games than the Roo Pub there at 281 in Redland Road. And go hungry because their kitchen is fantastic. Yeah, I've said many times, if it wasn't a great bar, it would be a great restaurant. It happens to be both. All the food in their kitchen is made from scratch, and the kitchen is open until 2 a.m. with a full menu. So if it's late and you're hungry, get into the Roo Pub there at 281 in Redland. They've got the best wings in town, certainly the biggest. About 15 different burgers on that menu. They've got the wraps. They've got salads, and their appetizers are incredible. Their onion rings, get it with a side of barbecue sauce, or their Philly cheesesteak fries, I highly recommend. Of course, full bar, everything you need there at the Roo Pub, and they'll have all the games this weekend and the Tyson Wilder fight coming up tomorrow night as well. Roo Pub, 281 Redland Road, right there next to the Angry Elephant. Best place to go watch a game this weekend. We'll see you at the Roo.
It's football, and not the Europe guy. Shootout, the one where they use their feet in conjunction with the ball.
Prescott will give it a Zeke, starts up the middle, bounces left.
But they also use their feet, but they use their hands as well.
30, 20, and 10, and touchdown.
You know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, the American kind. Dallas Cowboys football on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
You know, it's Friday. You have your weekend plans. None of you plan on getting arrested, but some of you will. Maybe it's not you, but you get a phone call from a family member or friend that you got yourself arrested or they got arrested. You want to get out of jail fast. You know, the best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff over at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number, or you could text bail to 474747, or even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, maybe going to the Longhorn game, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between, license number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online, mybestbailbonds.com.
At Manrique Custom Vision, you'll find some people just aren't good candidates for Z-LASIK. That's why they have different technologies for different patients. They are a custom vision center focused on helping people get rid of their glasses and contacts. Rudy J here. Call them today for a complimentary consultation to see what's right for you. Financing is offered to all FSA and medical spending accounts accepted. Get treated like family by Dr. Manrique. Call 354-2020 for the Manrique difference. That's 354-2020.
COVID is spiking again, and it's just not clear how to keep your family safe. Fever is the leading symptom of COVID, and the only way to reliably detect it is with an accurate thermometer. Be vigilant and be accurate with the Exergen temporal scanner, whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers are proven to be inaccurate and will not reliably detect a fever that might mean COVID. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug.
And we're back with Limu, Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb.
All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs.
Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Are you thinking about selling your car? Don't get tricked with 2-minute offers only to spend 4 hours at a dealership. I want you to check out my friends at Car Zeus. It's Rudy J here. Car Zeus is not a dealership, so you don't need to worry about shady sales tactics just to lure you in the door. I'm talking about saving you time and hassle. Simply fill out a form about your car's condition at carzeus.com, and a local agent will text you an offer during business hours. No obligation. Plus, they pay the same day and even provide a courtesy Lyft ride home. That's carzeus.com.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
According to TxDOT, on average, one motorcyclist dies every day on Texas roads. If you or a loved one were injured in a motorcycle crash, call Thomas J. Henry. To learn more or start your claim today, visit tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations. Slackers is your home to 7 days a week happy hour, and they now start at noon every day. And by popular request, Slackers brings back their signature frozen drinks. Visit slackersbarsa.com for more info.
Kane Brown, Blessed and Free Tour. Saturday, October 16th, AT&T Center. I got one thing right. Special guests, Jordan Davis and Restless Road. See the meteoric rise of Kane Brown live. Tickets are on sale now at KaneBrownMusic.com. Presented by AEG Presents.
Live, local, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. At a Hero Stadium, our Hill Electric High School game of the week tonight. The Roosevelt Rough Riders taking on the undefeated Johnson Jaguars. Kevin Brock and myself will have the call. Pregame starts in about 30 minutes at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7. Should be a very fun game tonight. You know, it's interesting. You know, one of these, throw the records out. Last couple of years, these two teams have played some pretty wild games. 2 years ago, Roosevelt won 35-34. Last year, Johnson scored late to make the score a little bit different, but it was still a high-scoring game. It's going to be a fun one tonight here on San Antonio Sports Star. Johnson and Roosevelt. Again, pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock. But before we get there, you know, we this kicks off football weekend, and great day for college tomorrow. Then you got the NFL on Sunday. And one of the things that the gambling types have noticed over the last couple of years is the home field advantage seems to be gone. Well, last year with few fans or no fans, depending on where your stadium was, well, that did take away the home field advantage. You got a London game tomorrow morning. We send two of our worst over there to London to play a game on Sunday morning. There is no home field advantage over there. But when you think about this year, the road teams have a winning record over the home teams. It's interesting. You know, lots of reasons for that. And that is where Rob Thompson and Rudy J started with Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy as he joins them every Friday morning, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, because the Cowboys should have a good home field advantage on Sunday against the New York Giants. But the numbers say there's no more home field advantage in the NFL.
And no doubt. It's something that's been, going on now for a couple of years, and get close to the 50-50 mark. But if you look at the Giants, if you just look at the Giants' productivity on offense and defense, they've been better. They've been better on the road this year. Now it's only 4 weeks, but it's definitely a trend that's been going on, and I just think teams are doing a much better job, and the style of play of no huddle and all those up-tempo offenses are definitely helping teams on the road.
Head coach Mike McCarthy joined us here on San Antonio Sports Star. Coming into today's Fast and Furious runaround, talk about some injuries. How's Diggs back? We expect him full in practice today, and Zeke's knee.
Yeah, they both practiced yesterday, so they look good for Sunday.
Coach, I guess, this week was about the decision to, let Jalen Smith go. I guess it's when you have a guy that's as good as Jalen Smith and you're able to, release him, 4 weeks in, we call it, rich people problems. How tough was that decision, and how confident are you in the rest of the guys taking up that slack?
It's definitely tough on a number of fronts, not only, what Jalen has done this year, but, what he's done throughout his career here. So, that was the decision that's a lot went into it. There's a lot of factors. But it was, as I've stated the other day, it was more of a big picture roster decision.
What does that mean?
You're not supposed to ask that.
No, I'm looking at Coach. I'm looking at him like, what are you doing, Rob?
No, what it means is it's just, that's the other factors. You got a number of different combinations of players and trying to get the different packages ready each and every week, and the development of the roster. Both as far as playing, and also, there's financial considerations that go in these decisions too.
When we're out in Oxnard, I'm watching you guys practice, and I'm like, who is this big 6'4" safety out here making plays, leading the team? Another great problem to have. The Donovan Wilson, J-Ron Curse, he leads the team in tackles, tied for first in tackles for loss. How are you and Quinn handling the whole Wilson and Curse? Because Curse he's been phenomenal. He's all over my TV screen.
These are great situations to
right.
be in. I mean, at the end of the day, it's you have to be able to play multiple players, and we've played 30 players already on defense. Wow. That's exceptional for particularly the first 4 games of the year. So, and that's something that we think is going to pay forward for us in a very good way. But just to be able to play these guys week in and week out, ideally you want to have a long-term vision to this, and have guys that don't have to play 70 plays each week will definitely serve us well at the end of the year.
Coach, as we talk about surprises, and Curse certainly, after we saw him, isn't as big a surprise as maybe some people believe. Odigizua, what has changed about his play from when you first saw him back in May with some OTA tape to today? Obviously he has greatly improved, and obviously you saw something, but what has he done to get himself to where he is now?
I mean, for a young player, he really has a high command of what he's being asked to do. He's shown the ability to be position flexible, both the 1 to 3, even bouncing out to the 5.
Did you expect that?
Oh, definitely. No, we were ecstatic when we drafted him. I think his flexibility, particularly his arm length and his twitch. And he's a very, very professional young man, and it's definitely served him well.
Well, we spend so much time talking about the defense. Is Amari? He's been kind of banged up. Is he okay? Because he's played, to his credit, Coach. He's played through it. But is Amari okay? It's kind of early in the season. He's been pretty banged up.
Yeah, he was in limited form yesterday. So I think with the next 2 days that I don't have concerns for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's not Lamar Jackson, Coach, but he's leading his team in rushing. Is that something you guys are keeping your eye on as far as Daniel Jones escaping the pocket and making plays with his legs?
Definitely. And I think we saw last year. I mean, he runs better than you think he does. So
yeah.
He's 188 yards, I think he has rushing so far. When he gets out there, he has another gear to get in the open field. So yeah, definitely our rush lane discipline has to be intact. But he's also playing a lot better from the pocket and seems to have much better command of the offense in his second year.
What did you see against the Saints that surprised you? Because I don't think a lot of people expected what they offered.
Well, I think they got going on offense. It's the big plays. Because this team's definitely better than its record. I think we all recognize that. I mean, they've lost 2 games on walk-off field goals, so they've been in every single football game. Their defense has been consistent. They've been more of a bend, don't break mentality, and they're doing a good job keeping the point totals down. And their offense, frankly, with their perimeter players, they got multiple perimeter player options, and those guys kind of got going against the Saints.
Coach, I always wonder, you guys have such a tough job. It seems like it's a 24/7 thing. For instance, last night, do you take any time to watch anybody else, or you're too busy watering your own grass?
Well, I mean, I had the game on last night, but frankly, then third quarter we kind of got into just a discussion about some things for today's practice. So I didn't see the end. Who won? Actually, I didn't even look see who won.
Rams ended up winning. Russell
held on.
Yeah, Russell Wilson got injured. His finger got hurt. I always wondered that. Do you have any time to really watch other teams? That's a tough job you guys have.
When you say you got into a discussion about the game coming up, were you sitting in your recliner on a group text?
Yeah.
Or you're at the facility? Or you sitting at the facility watching the game and also looking at tape?
I am right now talking to you guys in my office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I recommend the recliner and a group text. That seems to work out a little bit easier for me.
They don't go home. When the last time you've been home, Coach?
Oh, shoot. No, I went home last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What time is the normal arrival on a weeknight?
At home?
Yeah. I mean, what's the schedule like?
Well, we start early. We're all early risers. So,
We're very aware of that, Coach.
Yeah, so try to get here by, that's right. I forgot you're last year. You're not so mad about that.
No. In fact, I changed my whole schedule to fit you, Coach. Now I work every morning.
Okay, there you go. It's a good thing. Get it done early. But no, we get rolling here. I try to get out of the house by 5:15, and get in here by 5:30, 5:45, and it just depends on what each day kind of ends differently. Monday nights are late; they're 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Tuesday and Wednesday is about the same. Thursday's not as bad. You try to get out of here by 8:30, somewhere in there.
Are you a drive-by, pick up something from the drive-thru on the way home kind of guy, or are you waiting for a hot meal when you walk in?
No, those meals are already gone.
Kitchen's closed.
Yeah, I got boys at home too. I understand that completely.
My wife knows. They don't wait on me. That's for it.
And we all know once the kitchen's closed, the kitchen's closed. Don't mess up any dishes.
Yeah. So.
Well, what do you pick up? I'm serious. What are you like? I'm gonna pick a burger and fries on the way home, or do you order? Are you Grubhubbing it?
No, I don't hit anything on the way home.
Yeah, it's late. It's late, man.
Well, something's got to have something to do. He is head coach Mike McCarthy, the Dallas Cowboys taco list today. We did our guy coach. He went on vacation and couldn't find it.
Really?
He wouldn't let anybody else bring him. So we promised that let everybody around the building know they'll be back next week as soon as our guy from El Volcan up there in Frisco and get you over.
They don't believe in next man up like you guys, Coach. I was like, he's like, man, we can't get anybody else to take him. I was hurt.
Rudy J, we need some old school. Don't we? That's what it's all about. Next man up.
Next man up, man.
There you go.
Hey, Coach, we appreciate you taking some time with us today. Congratulations on a great start to the season. Good luck this weekend. Stay safe. We'll talk to you next Friday.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great week.
Mike McCarthy this morning on R&R in the Morning, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. They didn't send him tacos. I got to admit, Pledge, I had my headphones off when they were getting into that. Was McCarthy pissed, or did he roll with it?
He rolled with it.
If the Cowboys don't win,
it's
pissed. Rob Thompson's fault.
It is absolutely Rob's fault.
You can, well, and it's not really Rob's fault, but it's we'll blame Rob because apparently the taco delivery guy, Jonathan, went on vacation. And it's not easy to just deliver tacos to the Cowboys facility and get them to the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, right? I mean, a lot of hoops go and so Jonathan, who's a huge Cowboy fan, he was willing to go early, make the tacos, and willing to do it. But Rob called him yesterday to get the taco order in, and he's on vacation, and they don't have anybody else willing to wake up early to take the Cowboys head coach tacos, which I find amazing. But then I'm also thinking, if you don't know what you're getting into, you don't want to do that. But, especially when we were in Oxnard, you learned how much those Cowboy players, because, and they don't go to the whole team. Mike McCarthy takes care of the ones he needs to. They would always go to his assistant, Laura, who definitely gets her taco of choice, right? And then he would take him to the quarterback room. So they were going to Dak Benvenuti, and last year was a gazillion quarterbacks. It's funny when you see pictures of Benvenuti wearing the El Volcana T-shirt from the taco shop that Jonathan took up there one time. I mean, like Danucci's into it. And Zeke, because Zeke goes to the quarterback meetings, I think just for breakfast on Friday. So hopefully he runs pissed on Sunday because he didn't get his tacos on Friday. Or like Mike McCarthy, doesn't eat breakfast before he leaves home because on Friday he knows those tacos are going to be there. It's kind of interesting. It's going to be an interesting game. Pledge, when you look at the NFL weekend schedule, besides your big game that your Texans have, I can't even say that with a straight face.
You shouldn't.
But, all right, it's the New England. It's not even Tom. It's not even Tom Brady coming in. But doesn't it feel like Alabama walking into College Station and what's about to happen? As a Texan fan, don't you feel the same thing? Like if you're a fan of the Aggies and the Texans,
it's going to be a bad weekend.
I don't even know if it's going to be that good. I mean, honestly, when you think about it that way, you look at all the games this weekend, the week of hype. What's the one game that you're going to watch? If not all of it, you're going to be checking it, and maybe that's going to be on the big screen, and everything else is going to be on the iPad.
Sunday Night Football is the game I'm most interested in. Chiefs Bills.
I know. Kansas City, Buffalo. I said early in the week, I think Buffalo goes in and wins that game. And I'm starting to waver because watching NFL Network today and ESPN today, a lot of people are taking Buffalo to win that game. And the last thing I want to do is have Patrick Mahomes go, everybody's betting against us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, boys. I mean, this is going to be a high-scoring game. But you look at last year's conference championship game and how close Buffalo was, and Buffalo is my preseason Super Bowl pick. They've got to go in there and get this win. They've got to get this win. But with everybody saying Buffalo's going to win, now I'm a little worried about it.
I mean, I don't know why people are writing off the Chiefs. I know the defense hasn't looked great, but this is a team that A, has Patrick Mahomes, B, is playing at home, and C, the last time these two faced in the regular season, Kansas City royally trounced Buffalo.
But I think it's because Buffalo's playing so well. I mean, they had that weird game at the beginning of the year when they lost to that crap Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Mm-hmm.
And Pittsburgh has just fallen off the map ever since then. You know, right? It's kind of like, you know, the Green Bay game. You know, the Packers looked so bad in week 1, and since then, you know, they're on a roll. It's the same thing with the Buffalo Bills. They just have so many different ways to beat you.
But they've also beaten Miami, Houston, and Washington in that span. So it's kind of easy to look good against those teams.
Well,
backup quarterback, backup quarterback, backup quarterback.
Well, wait, who did they play? Tyler Heineke is a
backup
starting quarterback.
quarterback.
He's a starting quarterback
He
now.
is not a that's like saying Davis Mills is a starting quarterback now.
Well, he is. Well, no, because, you know, Davis is keeping a seat warm. Although he could take that job if he wanted it, right? You look at Heineke. I mean, he is such an
the best
starter.
of the backups.
Well, but he's entrenched as a starter. He's got a beer sponsorship deal all of a sudden.
Okay,
and he worked it well. And I think about I think about the magic of Lee Steinberg, because that's his agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Taylor Heineke should have a Heineken deal, right? That would make too much sense. He talked about that. Heineken turned him down. Bud Light, 2 days later, what are they calling it? The Bud Light again, or however they, you know, mixing his name in there. It's it only makes sense. They've got stuff already printed up. It was done the next day. And then the commercials were on the air and all the promos were out there. But he's ended up with a beer sponsorship with Bud Light because Heineken turned him down.
That's good for Tyler Heineke. It's hard for backup quarterbacks to get sponsorship deals like that.
Yeah, but he's a starting quarterback now. See, that's how you know he's officially the starter, because he's got a beer deal. They're not giving NIL money to backups in the NFL.
Yeah, they are. They just did.
Oh, well,
you think Ryan Fitzpatrick comes back and he's not taking that job back?
No, isn't he on IR? He's done. He's done. That's Bud Light Heineken's job now. That's what it's going to end up being. What is the worst thing you've ever had stolen?
You know, in high school, I had a very important necklace stolen from me.
Okay.
It was gifted from my father. It was my favorite number. It was a number I wore at Smiths Valley. It was diamond encrusted. My daddo had it for his double nickel birthday. It was all diamonds in the 5 and gold, and
nice,
very expensive. Missing out of my locker one day.
Larry Hill let that happen? That's surprising. See, I was thinking back because there's a story that Jerry said about having something stolen. You know, and I go back, and I guess I've been pretty fortunate. I've never had a car stolen, knock on wood. But in the Navy, and it's not an expensive camera, but it was to me as a 19-year-old kid in the Navy at the time. But I had a Pentax K1000 camera with a 200 millimeter lens that got stolen. And, on my ship, but we were ashore duty. So, I mean, it ended up in a pawn shop somewhere in some country, right? And that's probably the worst that I've ever had stolen, outside of all the snacks that used to leave my office when we actually worked in the building. For whatever reason, on 105.3 The Fan today, Jerry Jones was asked about the biggest thing that he ever lost or had stolen, and he tells one hell of a story.
Well, I did have, when I was about 33 or 4, I had my pride and joy car that I bought. And I was so proud of it, and I just didn't even want anybody to get in it. I was so proud of it. But I had left town and had been gone for really 6 weeks. And my family actually met me while I was out on the road. But when I finally did come back, someone had stolen my car. It was gone. And I had the police and everybody out, and it was just gone. That's all it was to it. Well, I was operating real tight and close, and this car was special. And so the insurance company gave me my check, and I didn't go get another car. I really had accrued other bills for my business, and I had to go there. Well, about the time I'd finished paying the last amount of the money out, the phone rings, and it's the police department. Jerry, we found your car. And I thought, my God. I said, well, guys, where was it? California? Were the wheels off? Was it wrecked? What happened? Said, no. Said, we think it was maybe where you left it. The keys are on the board. It's sitting in a parking spot at the flying service where I had left 6 weeks earlier and forgotten about it.
Oh, wow.
Now, you don't have to have Alzheimer's to forget. I was about 33 when I was forgetting about it, but I owed everybody in the world, so could lose my memory. Let's put it like that.
What a story.
But what a shock. You're talking about having to do a recovery.
I'd have been pretty happy. You called the insurance company and say, here's your check
back? Not
back?
the word. I had to recover and give that insurance company back the money.
Yeah.
All right. Good to hear that he had to give the insurance company back. How rich do you have to be? How rich and stupid? Because, he left the car at the flying service. He leaves. And he never said what kind of car that he bought, but it was his pride and joy car. But he leaves, comes back, thinks his car is stolen. He's broke, so he gets the insurance money to pay off some debt, thinking the car is gone forever. And then the cops find his car where he left it in the parking spot at the private airport. Uh-huh. But he gave the money back, he says. Must be nice to be Jerry Jones. Just another reason why. We've got high school football coming up next here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
For $1,000 now, enter the winning keyword, sports. SPORTS, sports.